Hey guys, this is Jen from JCT Rustic Homestead, and I wanted to introduce you to something called a bullet journal. It's a dot grid pattern in a journal. You can really use any kind of notebook if you prefer, but after starting in a regular notebook, I realized that the actual bullet journal would probably be better for me just for what I wanted to do with it. So it's a really interesting concept started by Ryder Carroll, and it can be anything you want. If you want to keep track of financials or day-to-day activities, calendars, a brain dump, mood tracker, anything. And I encourage you to just Google it and see what it is if you think it's something that you'd be interested in. This is kind of what I use my bullet journal for, and it really started though as help tracking some of my financial things, and then it just kind of blew up from there. So you're not staring at a book the whole time. This is the bullet journal I started. It's a Lectern 1917, and I think it's a size A. There's a couple different sizes. There's an even larger size. I just wanted this size. It has an index in the front. It has a little pocket in the back, and I realized when I started my notebook I never even thought about an index, and I didn't number my pages right, and that was another reason why I just wanted to go with a Lectern. And it already has pre-numbered pages, and this is my index, and I gotta catch it up a little bit more. In the front I just did a little quote, and though your beginning was small, your latter days will be very great, from Job 8:7. And I also have a yearly calendar where I can it's more so I can see what date falls on what day, like, May 6th is a Monday, and I'm looking at this upside down, so I hope this is correct, but it just gives me a yearly overview. And then, like I said, I started this because I wanted more a better way to track my financials. An advice was giving to me, write it down every payment, find the balance after you pay, and then it's more incentive to pay it off. And it really has been kind of fun keeping track of it that way. So let's get started. And I do have some things blocked out because it's just private information, so don't be surprised. But this is my truck loan, and this is why I started it. It does have, I put my pertinent information there for the bank and what's going on with the loan, and then I just did a little check mark thing so I know how many payments I've done and how many I have left. And then in the bottom I do have an extra payment bracket where I can put the date and the amount extra that I paid, just because I'm weird and I like keeping track of stuff like that. And then throughout I'm going to zoom you in a little bit. I've numbered it because that's the way my payment stubs were, but I also have the payment number, the date, the check number that I wrote for the payment, the amount I paid, and then I can write down my balance. You just call the bank afterwards, and it walks you through with how much is left on your loan, and if you have a payoff amount you want to keep track of. So that's been really kind of fun, and it gives me a little more incentive, put that extra $5 in my payment if I can. And then there are mortgage payment. There's different ones that you can do, but this one was just like a little brick thing, because we're paying off something, and it just builds, and every time you make a payment you just fill in the brick. You can look up different designs for that as well. And I have a similar payment number, date, check number, amount we paid, and that kind of thing throughout it. And then it just once again helps us keep track of how much we paid, how much we have left. I just did a little quote of Invictus because it's just a nice quote. I thought, if you guys have ever seen the movie Invictus with Morgan Freeman as Nelson Mandela, that's where I first heard it, but it's actually a poem by William Ernest Henley. So if you ever have time, go ahead and look that up. I do have a project wish list because Colton and I were constantly going, well, wouldn't it be nice if we did this, or nice if we worked on that, and we don't have the funds to do everything at one time. I'm not sure too many people do. So I write it down whenever we come up with something. And then down the road, when we maybe have some extra cash or whatever, we can look at the list and subjectively decide what is more worthwhile for us to invest in. Is it, just a want or a need, or how much money do we have? Can we check this off the list? And then our brainstorming isn't like quite as haphazard, because I'm just as guilty of getting in those conversations of, it would be nice to do this or that, and then it just kind of gets lost. And there are some things that we want to do around the place that to fix it up or whatever, or some personal things that we want to finish. So that's my project wish list. I also have a savings tracker and a sinking funds thing. I'm not sure yet how much I'll actually use them, but I did write one down when I was first brainstorming the bullet journal, and we'll see how well that goes. But then we get to my monthly bill thing, and it can be as much or as little as you want, but once again, it just helps me keep track of the bills that we have. And this isn't the full list, but it gives me an idea of the bills that we need to pay, and then if they've been paid for that month. So then here's my months, but I also have when they may be due. Like some things due the 10th of the month, some things due the 1st of the month, something, and then this is my auto withdrawal. Does it automatically go from my checking, or does it automatically draw from my credit card? And then I just have a bigger perspective of where the money is actually going. And then down the road, I might put like a total down at the bottom somewhere for each month, so I see how much was spent that month. There's also different bill payment systems where you put your income in there, so you can see the cash flow of what's going in, what's going out. And if you're somebody that has difficulty handling money, or you're just wondering where in the world it's going, I would strongly encourage just doing a write out of everything that you're doing in your bills. And that's it for now, but thanks for joining me. Consider liking the video, subscribing, check out jctrustichomestead.com or Facebook page JCT Rustic Homestead. Have a great day. Thanks.